Hello students, hope you are doing well. Today we are going to start unit number 7, that is tertiary sector, and you are going to get 2 plus 2 plus 2. This is the weightage in your final examination. These are very short concepts, and in unit number 7 we have in total 9 concepts, and on the board you can find 6 concepts. So this will be your part 1 class, and in part 2 remaining 3 definitions, that is the remaining 3 very short concepts we'll discuss there, that is 7th, 8th and 9th. So let us start with our first very short concept. This unit is very important, because if you learn only 9 questions or 9 concepts, you are going to get 3 from this. This is the best choice. You do not have more concepts to read. So we have only 9 concepts. Please read it well and practice well, so that you can attempt 3 very short concepts in your exam. Let us start with the first concept, that is sources of energy. Sources of energy is classified into 2 types, that is conventional and non-conventional sources. Sources of energy is divided into conventional and non-conventional. The meaning of conventional means which is fixed in nature, and the meaning of non-conventional is it can be formed again. It is fixed, it cannot be formed again, whereas non-conventional can be formed again. So what things comes under conventional? Let us see. Firewood, vegetable waste, then dried animal dung, coal, petroleum and electricity. These all concepts come under conventional sources of energy. That means they are fixed in nature, you cannot produce them again. Firewood, vegetable waste, dried animal dung, coal, petroleum and electricity. These are fixed in nature, they cannot be produced again. So they are called as conventional sources of energy. Then what are non-conventional sources? Solar energy, wind energy and tidal energy comes under non-conventional sources. Very easy definition. Sources of energy is classified into 2 types, that is conventional and non-conventional. Second concept is fossil fuels. What is our second concept? Fossil fuel. They are also known as non-renewable sources of energy. That means they cannot be used again. If you use it once, it is done, its lifespan is done. You cannot use it once again. So these fossil fuels are formed through the remains of animals and plants. Remains means the excreta of animals as well as plants, or the waste material which is excreted out of the body of either animals or plants. From that fossil fuels are formed, and these fossil fuels are of 3 types. These fossil fuels are of 3 types, and they are coal, crude oil and natural gas. There are 3 types of fossil fuels. They are coal, crude oil and natural gas. Coal you already know, then crude oil is nothing but it's a kind of petroleum. Then natural gas is the gas which you use in stoves, ovens, etc. So fossil fuels are also known as non-renewable sources of energy, and they are formed through the remains of animals and plants. Then these fossil fuels are of 3 types. They are coal, crude oil and natural gas. Then the third one is, what is BharatNet? Our third concept is, what is BharatNet? So government have launched this program, that is BharatNet, in order to facilitate broadband connection. In order to facilitate broadband connection. Now what is the meaning of broadband? Broadband means very high speed internet connection. Is that clear? Very high speed internet connection. So this government, the government of Telangana, have launched a program called as BharatNet in order to facilitate broadband connection, means very high speed connection to nearly 2.5 lakhs GPs. GPs means Gram Panchayat in India. So this consists of, or it includes, satellite media, radio on optical fiber. Satellite media, radio and optical fiber. Now satellite media, it is useful in telephones, we require connections. Then in televisions, you require connection. Then in climate, weather condition, forecasting, everything, we require satellites. Then the next one is radio, you know about it. Then optical fiber in the sense the light rays travels through this optical fibers. So these are the three things which are included in BharatNet. It is a program launched by government for facilitating broadband connection, means high speed connection to 2.5 lakhs Gram Panchayats. It includes satellite media, radio and optical fiber. Now our fourth concept is commercial banks. SBI, Andhra Bank and Bank of Baroda are the commercial banks in India. What are the commercial banks in India? SBI, Andhra Bank and Bank of Baroda. These are the three banks which are commercial banks in India. Now what these commercial banks do? They accept deposit and they advance loans. That means they accept the deposits from the public. Public will be depositing into the bank and they will be providing loans through these public deposits. What is the main objective of commercial bank? To accept deposits and to advance loans. Now approximately 14 banks have been nationalized in the year 1969 and remaining 2 banks have been nationalized in 1980. Just remember this point, 14 banks in 1969 and 2 banks in 1980 have been nationalized. Coming to our next concept, that is IRDA, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority. Full form of IRDA is Insurance Regulatory Development Authority. The term itself is saying insurance is to be regulated and to be developed. So this IRDA is an authority. Now this IRDA Act have been passed in the year 1999. When the Insurance Regulatory Development Authority Act have been passed, it have been passed in the year 1999 and it is an autonomous body. Autonomous means it does not require anyone else assistance or help. It itself is the main and superior head. It does not require anyone else. That is the meaning of autonomous body. So IRDA is an autonomous body. It have given statutory in the year 2000. Statutory means legal through laws, means it became legal by the year 2000 and its main aim is to regulate and to develop insurance industry, means all other insurance will be working under IRDA and its main aim is to also develop the insurance industries. And our sixth definition or sixth concept is water transport. It is the most cheapest mode of transport, means you do not require much traveling cost under water transport because it is the cheapest as well as the least polluting mode of transport. Least polluting means it will not create pollution. Like if we use road transport, there is much pollution through vehicles, bus, cars, etc. But in water transport, we do not have any pollution. So it is the least polluting mode of transport as well as it is the cheapest mode of transport. It connects canals, lakes, rivers, seas within the countries. It connects these all things within the country itself. So this is known as water transport. In our part 1, 6 concepts are done. See you in the part 2 with the remaining 3 concepts of unit number 7. Till that, stay home, stay safe and always keep practicing.